Yeah, I'm still on a bit of a break. I am drinking during Thursday night live streams, but for now, other than that, I'll stick with this. We're here today to wrap up the Buffalo Trace Rundown. Welcome back to the Droopy Whiskey channel. If you guys haven't already, subscribe. That'd be pretty dank. Comment. Let me know what you think of the video. And that's it. We're going to get right into it because we got a lot of stuff to cover to bring Buffalo Trace home. This is episode 2 in the What Bourbon Should I Buy video series. And it's part 2 of the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Now let's get into their Wheated Bourbon Mashbill. Now the Wheated Bourbon Mashbill for Buffalo Trace is made up of 2 products, the Van Winkle line and the Weller line. This is a prime example of Weller. This is Weller 107 Antique. We'll start here. This is awesome. This is really, really good wheated bourbon at an awesome proof, 107 proof. Clever how they did that. I just recently did a tasting of this against the Makers 2020 special release and the Makers 2021 special release. And this I liked probably equal to the 2020. And the MSRP on this is really reasonable. Really, the MSRP is about $40, 30 to 40. Used to be way below that, like 25. You probably aren't going to see it for 30 to 40. I mean, unfortunately, that's the theme of this video right now, or these videos, when it comes to Buffalo Trace Distillery, is even though the MSRP on this is 40, to get it, you're going to have to pay $80 or $90 probably at a store, unless they've jacked it as high as $200 or $300, which has been known to happen. Secondary value is about $90 right now. And I don't know, you know, I traded for it at an $80 value last time I wanted it. And I don't regret that, but I still am not like prone to do that every day. In Ohio, you can actually get this at MSRP. So definitely a buy to me, up to 60. I might point you in the direction of like a Maker's limited release or Maker's cask strength if the price on this is like above 70. That said, I really like it, so I would maybe go up to 80. I did go up to 80 in trade value. I really struggle to go higher than that though. The Weller line also comes in the Weller Green Label, which is Weller Special Reserve. MSRP on that is 20 bucks. In my opinion, you shouldn't pay more than 30 for it because it's just fine. To me, it's no better than standard Maker's Mark. You don't need to, nor should you, pay 50 to 60 bucks for a Weller Special Reserve. There is better bourbon for less money. That said, it's probably a buy at 20 to 30, especially if you haven't tried it. You want to try it, see what the hype is about. You'll find that the hype's about pretty much nothing. Weller 12 is the most overblown bourbon, or one of the most overblown bourbons on the market. I should have titled this video, The Most Overblown Bourbon on the Market. It's really overblown. The MSRP on Weller 12 is like 40 to 60 bucks. I mean, Buffalo Trace Distillery, Sazerac and company have not raised the MSRPs on these Weller products despite the hype. But you will never see Weller 12 for less than $100 for sale for that. It's just, I've never even heard of it being sold on the shelf at less than 100 bucks. Maybe I've seen an image or two on Instagram, crotch shot, but it hasn't been local for less than 100 bucks. I know that in quite some time. And the trade value on Weller 12 is like 200 bucks. And it's honestly, I'll take the 107. Flavor profile wise, pro tip, get Weller 107 before you get Weller 12. You get more proof out of the 107. And the low proof 12-year age statement on the W12, it's just not, it doesn't pack a lot of flavor. It's a little oaky but not super sweet. It needs some richness and some depth that it just doesn't have. So for me, in like what I want to drink, like I passed on Weller 12 at 90 once. I regret that a little bit because I know I could have like bought it and then traded it, but you know, it's whatever. I don't, that one doesn't keep me up at night for sure. So, you know, I'm maybe a buy up to 90, maybe, but certainly for drinking purposes, which is probably the most important purposes while you're watching this video, please don't go out and get Weller 12 for 200 bucks. I think you're going to be sorely disappointed. If you tried it and you love it, like try it at a bar first. If you love it and then you find it for a price that's sort of for you, go for it. But in my opinion, you might consider passing on Weller 12 north of the Franklin. Going back to the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, this is not Weller, but there's an edition that looks like this called William LaRue Weller, and it's the super aged, wheated bourbon from Buffalo Trace. Yeah, okay. And it is very good. I have had that. That a lot of age and a lot of proof works really, really well for Weller, where that sort of medium age of the Weller 12, low proof, wasn't feeling that. High age, high proof of William LaRue Weller, total banger. It's one of people's favorites among the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection pretty much every year. And MSRP on that's 100. It's a buy forever. It's a buy up to 300. I'd probably go to 4 on the William LaRue Weller. If I had 4 to spend, I might have to sell a kidney. But secondary value on a William LaRue Weller, 700 bucks. Like, I don't think there's any years of WLW that aren't an astronomical figure on the secondary market. So maybe you'll have nice friends that let you try some, like I do. My good friend Kyle Ramage let me try a little bit of his WLW. Thanks, Kyle. It was awesome. I'm not even going to bother getting into the Van Winkle line of bourbons. Bottom line is the MSRPs are really reasonable, like Weller 107, like William LaRue Weller. But the secondary value is astronomical, and you're not going to be able to get one unless you like enter a raffle or you pay anywhere from $500 to $2,000. Plus, I did a video on Pappy Van Winkle, like how you can get it. And you can go back and watch that. It's got a lot of information about the Pappies that we probably just don't have time to cover here. So my recommendation is don't try and hunt Pappy. It's good. Like the Van Winkles, the ones I've tried are quite good, but just not. It's so much work, so much money, so many blood, sweat, and tears, so many lost and burned dreams. Now we're going to talk about Mashbill number 2. And Mashbill number 2, the Mashbill from which Blanton's comes from. Now the deal about Mashbill number 2 is it's the Mashbill whose product belongs to not Sazerac and Company. It would be Age International. Now it's made by Sazerac and comes out of Buffalo Trace Distillery, but different brands owned by different people. So Sazerac doesn't sell Blanton's. Age International does. And this Mashbill number 2 goes in, as I just said, to all the Age International brands. Those include Ancient Age, Blanton's, Rock Hill Farms, Hancock Reserve, Elmer T. Lee. Let's start with this one. Let's start with Blanton's. And just to recap, because I have done a video, what's the deal with Blanton's? And I've basically run down this product for you. There's like 4 different editions of Blanton's. The only one that's really semi-available in the United States is the standard Blanton's. This one, it is the 93 proof version, generally 6-ish years old, single barrel. MSRP on this is 50 bucks. This single barrel I got from Steve's in Madison, I paid 70 for. Then I did pay a Franklin for a single barrel from a small bar in Kentucky, but $30 of that went to charity. So I was like, okay. You know, there's a lot better bourbon out there for the price, especially when we're talking about 100 bucks. I mentioned I really like the bottle style. I like the cute horse. I think there's something to the overall package of Blanton's. That said, it's not even close to one of my favorite bourbons. I enjoy it, but it's fun to share with people. So what would I pay for it? Well, 70 is what I would pay for it. I really wouldn't go above that outside of the charity factor and the fact that it was a store pick. Yeah, and I would recommend, if you have a shot at it at MSRP 50 or up to 70, go for it. Have a ball, enjoy it, but maybe think twice before you drop a hundo for a 93 proof 6-year bourbon. There are way better options. There aren't way better bottle styles though. Blanton's straight from the barrel. It was released for the first time in the United States this last year. That's single barrel, Buffalo Trace, at cask strength, Stag Junior, awesome. Mash bill number 2, not that different, but if I would have had Blanton straight from the barrel, I would probably hold it in high esteem. My guess is, because people whose palates I trust also hold it in high esteem. That said, I haven't had it. Trade value on that one is about $300, $250 to $300, which is, you got to spring for it. I wouldn't recommend springing for it. Try and get yourself a Stag Junior at less than 100. Try. It's going to be close. Not a 1-to-1 because it's a slightly different mash bill, but close. It's not that different. There's Blanton's Gold. You can find that for $150 to $200. Secondary trade value, MSRP on that, I think it's just north of a Franklin. And I'd be a buy on that one, probably up to 125. That's just north of 100 proof. Blanton Special Reserve, the green label, is like whatever. It's 80 proof. 80 proof Buffalo Trace. Like, in a cool bottle, yeah, but other than that, I wouldn't buy it. I'm a pass on the Blanton Special Reserve. We're going to speed things up now. Ancient Age, it's a lower proof, it's a lower shelf mash bill number 2 option. It's hard to find because it's not as widely produced and distributed as a lot of other bottom shelf bourbons, but it's a bottom shelf Buffalo Trace or bottom shelf Blanton's. Used to be like 10-year age stated. It is no longer. It is now quite young, very fresh. It's fine, but I'm a pass on most bottom shelf stuff. I just don't use it. Like, I don't make a lot of cocktails. I don't like a lot of lower proof stuff. So now let's talk about the other single barrel products. Rock Hill Farms is a single barrel from mash bill number 2. Not that different from Blanton's. It is a little bit higher proof though. We're going from 93 up to 100. MSRP is about $60 on this, and I think you get more bang for your buck. You get slightly more proof points, you get more concentrated flavor. I think you probably get a slightly older product too. I have had Rock Hill Farms, not a whole bottle, just a taste, but it was a yummy taste. A little sample. It was delicious. I liked it a lot, and if I saw it, I wouldn't bat an eye at 60. I'd be all over it, and I'd certainly pay up to 100 because I think it knocks the socks off of Blanton's. But it's hard to pay much more than 100 for a lot of things. So starting to him and haw over 100. A lot of people would probably drop 150 for Rock Hill Farms without thinking about it. Secondary trade value is in that 200 range, similar to Weller 12. Next up is Elmer T. Lee, which is rumored to be even a little bit older, somewhere in the 10 to 12 range. But we're dropping proof again. We're only at 90 proof. MSRP on Elmer is only $40, so yeah, 90 proof, $40, 10 to 12, buy all day at that. But you can't buy it at that. I've never seen Elmer on the shelf. I have tried Elmer. I thought it was overhyped. I preferred Rock Hill, just going on memory. I didn't do a side-by-side. That would be fun, to side-by-side all the mash bill number 2 options, maybe one day. I don't have access to all of them right now, though. I'm a buy on Elmer probably up to 60 or 70, but I just wasn't that impressed. If I saw it, I'd probably try and trade it for a Stag Junior or, Stag Junior plus an Eagle Rare store pick or something, because the secondary trade value on Elmer, kind of comparable to the other mash bill 2 single barrel in Rock Hill Farms. Granted, Blanton's and Hancock Reserve are also single barrels, but just meant Rock Hill Farms. Elmer and Rock Hill Farms, similar secondary value. The final single barrel from mash bill number 2, Hancock's Reserve, is like the weird, forgotten stepchild. It's 88.9 proof, which is like, why? Why are we doing this? What's the point? And generally does not command the secondary value nor the hype of the other mash bill 2 single barrels. It's also not super widely distributed. Would I buy it, in the $40 MSRP range? Yeah, I would want to try it, but I wouldn't pay more than $60 for it, just based on that low proof point, and the reviews aren't as highly lauded. The profile seems to be more engineered toward the beginner bourbon drinker than it is somebody who likes, depth and age and high proof, which I like all of those things. Give me a lot of sweetness, give me a big, bold, spicy profile, give me 100 to 110 proof, and we're talking business. Hancock's Reserve misses on all those points. So, yeah, I'm barely in on Hancock's, would consider passing anywhere north of 60. So, not much more than MSRP on that one. So to recap, if you want to try Buffalo Trace Mashbill number 2, what I recommend you buy is try and get Rock Hill Farms anywhere close to MSRP. If you're able to get Blanton straight from the barrel near its MSRP around a Franklin, between 100 and 150, probably should try and do that. That would be, I don't think you'd be disappointed there. Blanton's 50 to 70, Elmer, a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but 50 to 70. Forget about Hancock's Reserve. Don't bother with Ancient Age unless you just need a bottom shelfer. Then yeah, go for it, but don't pay more than $25 for it. And then with Weller, I would steer clear of the Special Reserve and the 12, especially at secondary prices, and go straight down the middle for the Weller 107. And then if you were ever lucky enough to get William LaRue Weller anywhere close to MSRP, you'd be a lucky person for sure. That's it, y'all. It's not a comprehensive list. I didn't go through every special edition release ever of either Blanton's or Elmer T. Lee. This is not time for it. I may do a comprehensive history on those at some point. We'll see. If you like this video, please, again, get down, like the video. This is a request I make, and I ask because it helps. It's good, it's helpful for me, helpful for the channel. Helps get this video in front of other people who need it. If you're in the mood for some whiskey hangs, you just like to hang out, have a good time, Thursday nights at 8 o'clock Central Time on this YouTube channel, we do a live stream, so you should subscribe so you can catch that live stream and any other video I drop. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos in this series of what bourbon should you buy, trying to get you calibrated on the price points that bourbon is worth or not worth in some cases. Or bourbons I think you just shouldn't get because they're awful. Most bourbon is delicious, though, just for the record. Alright, y'all. Catch you next week. Stay healthy, stay safe, and remember to keep it neat.